What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're going to be going over all the new decks you get to enjoy in BT-16. So without further ado, let's get into the video and talk about it. First off, let's get into the requirements. Phoenixmon X Antibody is the new birdie deck. With this, you get when Digivolving Blitz, and then while Phoenixmon or X Antibodies, the Digivolutions add end of attack to all your on deletion effects. So your stack gets ridiculous pretty quickly. There's quite a few. And then on deletion, you may play one red Digimon card with Avian, Bird, Beast, Animal, Sovereign, other than Sea Animal in one of its traits with 11,000 DP or less from your hand without paying its cost. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon DP less than or equal to the DP of the Digimon played by this effect. It combos off really nicely with your Phoenixmons, and we do have the new Garudamon X Antibody that is going to be for non-play when Digivolving. You may return one red Digimon card from your trash to your hand. If you have Garudamon or X Antibodies Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP, and then your turn, when a Digimon card is returned from your trash to hand, one of your Digimon gains Rush for the turn. This allows pressure in a way that we really like to see, especially if we can combo with Saber Dramon. Being able to raid into something, it's going to really make your opponent have a bad day. You know the normal drills, you use like Chrissy to combo in with the Biomon that can basically warp into its Garudamon counterpart, and then you get to replay the Chrissy and just proceed doing that wombo combo just to skip evolution climb pretty quickly. And that is a matter of fact how the deck wants to play. It is a very powerful deck. Is it going to be top of the tier? Probably not, but it's worth just bringing up, right? Then we do have another red deck, and that is going to go right to the Hawkmon line. Hawkmon definitely went into Valkyriemon Ace as its contender here. It definitely has some good points. Valkyrie Ace is one of those powerhouse cards that says on play when Digivolving all your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP for the turn. Then all turns when an effect is removed from your security stack, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. If this effect didn't delete, the Digimon gains security attack 1 until the end of turn. Really useful, very powerful skill. That extra damage boost, even just to pop something, really does add up. We are playing Zaqualamon Ace as well. It's just a really powerful bird, and it just fits in the color scheme. And its when Digivolving effect at least deletes, you know, a Dava or 6,000 DP, or it gains a security attack 1 for its when attacking for adding pressure. So we get the pressure in the top end, which is really what we like. You know, Yoli and Kari are going to be able to play a Hawkmon or Salamon at the start of your turn, at the start of main phase, without paying its cost, and at the next time your opponent's turn ends, return that to Digimon to hand. Likelihood of that thing sticking around is pretty slim to none, because you're going to just Jogress, which resets the effect, removes it off of it, and then you're boom, ready to go. And, you know, we do have Sylphimon taking this into it. When Digivolving, if DNA, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000 DP for the turn. When Digivolving, when attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon 4,000 DP or less. And then it has the new keyword partition, as long as you have a red level 4 and a yellow level 4 in there. When the Digimon is deleted, will leave the battle other than by one of your effects or in battle. You may play one of each card without paying its cost. It's an all or nothing kind of effect. If you get source stripped, you're kind of screwed. Just keep that in mind when you're playing the deck. And then we do have the Searchers engine here. You know, you have Hawkmon and this Hawkmon to help search. You can tech Biomon in, or you can just go for solids, Salamons as well. You just play it with Sora. It's pretty decent here. I think there's no really bad way of building this deck, and hopefully it is actually competitive enough. Then we do have Imperial Jamon, one of the better decks of the format. It gained the keyword partition when it's Imperial Dramon here. It suspends all your opponent's Digimon with as many or fewer Digievolution cards as this Digimon, and then if you DNA, all your opponent's Digimon cannot unsuspend until the end of their opponent's turn, giving a mini lockdown to give them no way to push back. Then when attacking, suspend one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. With this effect, didn't suspend, unsuspend the Digimon. And then the partition, you know how it is. This is a really solid starting list to get you guys going. I definitely think it can be fine-tuned and treated a little bit better than what I gave you. It's not a bad starting point, especially with the Vmon Searchers. You kind of just hit all the notes here. Wormmon and Vmon definitely cover your searching ability. You know, I like this card here because when an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, trash the top Digivolution of one of their Digimon, then one of their Digimon with no Digivolutions cannot attack or block until the end of turn. This little hedgehog guy is going to definitely put in some work, especially combos in with your Wormmon. We have Mega Death to help remove threats. Then we have the new Imperial Jamon Dragon mode that says when Digivolve, one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers can't unsuspend until the end of turn. Then by suspending one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, unsuspend one of your Digimon. All turns when an opponent's Digimon is played or Digivolved by an effect. If you have a Tamer, this Digimon may Digivolve into Fighter mode in your hand without paying its cost. And then you do have access to Fighter mode Ace that says on play when Digivolving, return one of your opponent's Digimon with as many or fewer Digi-Evolutions than this Digimon to the bottom of the deck. And then unsuspend this Digimon. Then if Imperial Dramon Dragon mode is in this Digimon's Digi-Evolution, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of the deck. Just a really powerful card. Good counter timing ace. And then all the Stingmons and XVmons are here just to go off. Yeah, we keep that. Next, are going to say this right now. We're going to go over the green version that focuses on the Wormmons a little bit more than the Vmon, and it's pretty solid. It's got the same strategy plan. You know, I didn't talk about Davis and Ken in the other one. Being able to play the Vmon and Wormmon is really solid there. Then one of your opponent's Digimon with blue or green Digimon by suspending the Tamer gain 1 memory. If you DNA, trash 3 Digi-Evolutions of one of your opponent's Digimon. Helps fuel your abilities as well. I think this is really powerful as a deck as well, and you can get some good mileage out of this. What would you tune up in these lists, though? Then we have what is people screaming to high heavens to hit. We have Magnamon X Antibody himself. This card is just straight up toxicity, as people will say. Not really. It's got his weaknesses. Options can deal with this pretty quickly. Well-time effects can really deal with this. And then, you know, when Digivolving of Magnamon X Antibody or a card with Armor Formers traits in his Digi-Evolution cards, this Digimon isn't affected by your opponent's effects and gets plus 3000 DP until the end of opponent's turn, and then unsuspend this Digimon. All turns when an effect is removed from your security, when a card is removed from a security stack, you may activate this Digimon's when Digivolving skills. You shut down the when Digivolving skill or give it a -in DP before its protection is live. You're pretty scary. Scary boss Digimon disappears pretty quickly. Awakening the Golden Knight is just to help get into your Magnamon X Antibody just comfortably, just to warp up for a 3 cost, which isn't terrible. I mean, Shu is in here just because your X Antibody or Digipolice gains Alliance and Reboot, which just makes Magnamon X Antibody even more scarier, just as long as Shu's in there. Heaven's Judgment is another terrifying card because this thing is 3 colors. This thing is dealing a lot of damage just for no reason other than just because it can. Taking a look at it though, really solid base list. Final Zubergon Punch to add pressure, and we have Blinding Ray to make it so we can activate its protection before we swing, just in case your opponent has good options. It's just all value down here. Then we're getting into the yellow versions here. Blue moves on to yellow. The yellow version is a little more clunkier in my opinion. It does have a lot of explosive potential. You focus on your Rapid Mons here just to keep the board state minusing. And then you can go into Rapidmon X Antibody as an option, or you're going to go into Magnamon X Antibody as well, using Awakening the Golden Knight to be able to warp up into them, or you'll just normal Digi-Evolution up. I mean, there's no wrong way of going about it. Patamon's going to search your security, try to get you into your Rapids or Golden Dramon. Anything like that is going to help you out in the long term. TK is going to gain you memory. You have the other TK is a mem setter and basically pulls a card out. You know, Heaven's Judgment because it combos really well. I don't know if this deck will actually be the more competitive one. We'll have to find out as time goes on. Then we do have the Goldramon, trial the 4 Great Dragons. You got a new card in Dragon's Breath. Reveal the top 4 cards, add 1 yellow card and 1 card with 4 Great Dragons traits among them to your hand. Return the rest to the bottom of the deck. And if you play 1, trial the 4 Greats from your hand into your battle area, or trash 1 4 Great Dragon traits in your hand. If you did, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -7,000 DP. And then just 7,000 DP blanket. You know, Goldramon X Antibody copies the Goldramon. You're going to use this Goldramon to produce 2 tokens, and if it goes Pops a Daisy, you get the recovery. You know, this thing gains your Goldramon effects, and then you may use 1 God Flare or 1 option with 4 Great Dragon traits from your hand without paying its cost. It's a really solid combo, and it's got Raid, and he's not bad for a BT-13. If you don't know, this is kind of just a basic list for Trial the 4 Greats. I don't think it's going to do enough. It's worth just considering. Then we do have the all famous Gatomon armor deck. If you guys don't know about it, you play the Salamons. I know there's Ukko. I'm sorry. You can just play all Salamons and just hope. I think consistency with, especially with Louis and Ukko, just really help out. The main focus point of the deck is getting into your armors, going Fire Rocket, using armor texture to unsuspend and de-armor to go into a new armor. Just really powerful skills here. You got like Gatomon, just being Gatomon, you know, Salads, Salamon X antibody to climb up and take a little bit deeper. You know, we do have at least 2 level 5s and a level 6 ace kind of scenario, and then we have Seraphimon, just because Jogressing with our color scheme is very possible, not always guaranteed. Everything does happen for a reason, and this deck has a lot of fun and potential. Hopefully someone cracks the code and actually makes this thing uberly competitive. It had some tops here and there. I really want to see what the end result will look like. Then we are getting into Armadillo. Armadillo is a yellow deck, true and true, using like Frymon, while this Digimon has 3 or more security. While you have 3 or more security, this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. It's not a really tanky powerhouse deck. You need to get as much DP boost as possible through your Armadillos and Tylemons. The main focus is getting into Jogger. Shakomon is just basically in here for Jogressing. It's got the participation effect, and when Digivolving, this Digimon isn't affected by effects of one of your opponent's Digimon until the end of the turn. Then if you DNA, place one of your opponent's Digimon whose level is less than or equal to the number of cards in your opponent's security stack at the bottom of their security stack. Not a bad trade-off. It's a good removal, especially because paired to this one, it's just a bounce to owner's hand, this bottom decks at least. Great options, comboing with Vikemon, Ace, on play when Digivolving, de-Digivolve 2 of your opponent's Digimon, then all your opponent's Digimon with 1 or fewer Digi-Evolution cards cannot suspend until the end of turn, and then end of attack, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 1 or fewer Digi. All great combinations. You know, you got Cody and TK to help de-Digivolve if you DNA'd, and then, you know, one of your, by spending time or gaining some memory, that Digi-Evolution, it really does help out. And if you have Armadillo, if you don't have you may play one Armor or Patamon. Most likely you're just going to be playing the Armadillos because that's their only target. Dark Male Dramon's not going to Dramon is not going to do much in this list. You're just going to Digivolve on top of your Armadillos, the black ones, and then you're just going to Jogress and get into your boss. Not a bad trade-off. I like the one Chimera tech. It's just a very much another Jogressing combo. Then we do get into green. We got Gummy Terriermon. Terriermon X antibodies, a new card. When this Digimon would Digivolve into a card with Gargo or Rapid in its name, reduce the Digi-Evolution cost by 1. And then while this Digimon has Gargo or Rapid in its name, it gains Piercing, which is a nice little added bonus because now you can hit magic numbers a little bit easier. And I like that as well. You know, we also have Rapidmon X Antibody. In this card we talked about earlier in the yellow list. Suspending all your opponent's Digimon, then this Digimon may attack. While you have Rapid or X Antibodies Digi-Evolutions, all your opponent's suspended Digimon gets minus 4000 DP. All turns when an opponent's Digimon is deleted in battle, or by having 0 DP, gain 2 memory. The minusing DP shenanigans from your Appas will add up, especially if you get into Rapidmon X Antibody, which is funny because you can go Rapidmon X Antibody, Mega Gargo Ace into another Rapidmon X Antibody. If I remember correctly, no, you can't do that. Why were people saying you can? Oh, just because you can go Rapidmon X Antibody, Mega Gargo. I don't see where you can go from there. Apparently, people were saying you can just do an up climb. You can't really go crazy. Giant Missile, Double Typhoons, just all good stuff here. Then we do have Tyrant Kabutari. This is not a bad list. I avoided putting in the promo because it was a little bit about people's price range and kind of deters a little bit. If you want, play 2 promos instead of this Kawagamon. This one's just a good, decent substitute for its on play, especially if you play it with Tyrant Kabutari, because all turns while this Digimon is suspended, it isn't affected by your opponent's Digimon. When Digivolve, you may play one Digimon with Insectoid or a Larva trait from your hand without paying its cost, reduce the play cost by 8. I think it's a really powerful skill. And then end of turn, by spending one of your other Digimon, return one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to the DP of the suspended Digimon by this effect to the bottom of the deck. Not bad for removal, especially because Grand Kawagamon Ace is really solid here For an on-play, suspend 2 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. Cards suspended by this effect do not unsuspend until the next unsuspend phase. Then delete one of your opponent's suspended Tamers. Nice Tamer removal hate. We would like to see this. And then when this Digimon becomes suspended, one of your Digimon gains security attack 1. Just combos nicely with Tyrant Kabutari. Rhino Kabutari is just to help Digivolve for 3 costs, which will make your Tyrant Kabu a lot less expensive. Stuff like that is very important to take a look at. I mean, the deck really plays itself. It's just one of those powerhouses. Definitely worth taking a look at. Then we do have D-Brigade. D-Brigade got some new cards in the form of Command Dramon. All your other Digimon with D-Brigade or DigiPolice gets plus 1000 DP for a normal while it's out, and as an inheritable is really solid, because that's one of its biggest issues, is that it needs a DP boost. Seal Dramon's in here for the on-play. When Digivolve, return 3 cards with D-Brigade or DigiPolice traits from your trash to the top of your deck. Digimon gains Rush and can't be blocked for the turn. Seal Dramon's really nasty, especially if you're at 4. You can get in some decent damage. Tank Dramon's in here for when one of your other Digimon with D-Brigade or DigiPolice in his traits is played. Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. On play, when Digivolve, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. For each card with D-Brigade or DigiPolice traits among them, reduce the play cost of all your opponent's Digimon by 1. Then return all your opponent's Digimon by 1. Reduce the play cost of all your opponent's Digimon by 1 for the turn. Return the reveal card to the top or bottom deck, then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost 4 or less. I like that the play cost will start shrinking. It does add up sometimes and matter, especially want to delete stuff like with your DCD bomb, really can help out. We have Bikemon Ace, we talked earlier about. It's just a good ace. We do have one of the Metro Police Department Community Safety Bureau Cyber Crime Division Investigate Unit 11 Digimon Crime Response Team. This card you will not say fast enough in my life. It's worth to take into account because it reveals the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 DigiPolice or D-Brigade trait among them. Return the rest of the top of the deck and place this card in the battle area. Then it's delay. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 D-Brigade or DigiPolice with a play cost 4 or less without paying its cost. Trash the rest. Kind of the same thing here. It places the card for its security effect. All in all, nothing too out of the ordinary with your D-Brigade list. Then we do have the new Doru Gamon. It has collision. During this turn, this Digimon is attacked. All your opponent's Digimon gains blocker, and your opponent blocks if possible. This is another way around Magna X antibody because you force it, and you are actually a little bit bigger with your inheritable stack with Daruga and Doru, 1000 DP. And then this one is Doro Gray for when this Digimon deletes another Digimon, you may place the 1 card with X Antibiotics SOC traits and a play cost 5 or less from your trash without paying its cost. Just not a bad trade-off. Great inheritable. Collision blocker, you know the shenanigans here. And then when an attack target is switched, this Digimon may, with a Tamer with SOC in its Digievolutions, you may Digivolve into Beast, Undead, or SOC from your hand without paying its cost. You're kind of just trying to go into this card here. You know, if this Digimon has a Tamer with SOC in its traits in the Digievolution, delete one of your opponent's suspended Digimon or Tamer. Then all turns when another Digimon is deleted, you may unsuspend this Digimon. It's not a bad way of getting some multi-attacks in. You know, we have this Doru Gray just to get in to a decent extra damage output. You know, Dex Dorugamon is another option for you to be playing as a backup, or you play Oriumon. It doesn't really matter what you choose for the backup at this point. It's just we're waiting for the new support just to make the deck even crazier. Kosuke gives piercing and blocker with its mind link, and it's a mem setter. Not bad at all. You know, we see all the good stuff, and then you have Doru Dijin. If you have a Digimon with Dorugamon in its name, delete one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamer with a play cost 4 or less, then delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. Not a bad list at all. I like the Thoramon. This thing just makes it one of your opponent's Digimon has to attack at the start of their next main phase, which you can block afterwards with your big boss monster. Stuff like that is very important. Then we're getting into purple. Lugamon got some new support in the form of Dino B, which will be able to DNA. You may play a 5 or lower with free trait from your trash without paying its cost. It'll just be playing its Dino B counterpart and giving it rush to add pressure, especially with a delicate plan. You'll just shut down your opponent. Options for, well, that Digimon swinging. You know, you have Sulugramon that end attack if your opponent has 1 or more memory, unsuspend this Digimon. And then by trashing 2 cards in your hand, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 DP or less. If an effect didn't delete, you may play a level 4 or lower card with SOC and traits from your trash without paying its cost. Then one of your other Digimon may with SOC in its trait is deleted. This Digimon with a Tamer card with SOC in its traits in its Digi-Evolution may Digivolve into Fenry Luga from trash without paying its cost. It's a nice combo. We are playing Ukkus because Ukko is very beneficial for this list. There's wisdom trainings and stuff like that to search your pieces. Ukko just helps even search deeper, especially because you need to get to your Tamer, and there's not really any low-end searchers outside of nothing really. Yeah, nothing's going to be searching. That's why you're kind of playing Ukko, because you don't care if your stacks don't really do anything for a couple turns. Then we do have Pulmon doing Pulmon things. As you know how the deck wants to play, you use BT-16 here, comboed in with all the Pulmons. The new one is pretty solid here, just being able to be a good searcher. This one's always been a good searcher by trashing your stack, just making sure you get to 3. You can combo off your other skills. You do have access to the promo. Boutmon kind of gets yeeted, especially next format. Just keep this in mind. There's a lot of potential. Shroudmon's really powerful boss Digimon as well. It's got a when Digivolving and attack. If you have 3 or more security cards, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000 DP for the turn. If you have 3 or fewer security cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon of unsuspended Digimon. When this Digimon would leave the battle area by your opponent's effect, if you have 3 or more security, trash the top card security stack, prevent it from leaving. Not bad. And then on deletion, recovery 1 if you have 3 security cards. Not bad. And then you have like Kazuchimon being Kazuchimon from the old school. Thunder Flame Crushers, delete one of your opponent's Digimon of 5 or lower. Then if you have 2 or fewer security, place this card at the bottom of the security stack. And then it gives minus 5,000 DP. And then when you would use this card by trashing the top card of your security stack till the end, until you have 3 securities left, reduce the play cost by 2 for each card trashed. Hacker Judge is not bad. It's a good mem setter with the Mind Link ability and giving blocker and barrier. And then Kisio Kodo, just when you play a Pulmon by spending this Tamer, if you have 3 or fewer securities, draw a card. If you have 3 or fewer security, gain 1. This one's more, this one's less. All in all, great list. Then we have Levimon. Levimon got some new support in its X antibody line, which is like Sayokomon X antibody. Starter main phase, when Digivolving, your opponent may trash 1 card in their hand. If they don't, gain a memory. And then when attacking, draw 1, trash 1. Same thing for the inheritable, the new X antibody here. Gusomon X Antibody does the same thing. And on play, when Digivolving, if Gusomon or X Antibody's Digivolution cards, you may trash any 3 cards under one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. Then one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers without cards under it cannot suspend until the end of turn. This is a really solid list, what you're looking at here. Then we do have Myotismon comboing with the Arkenimon. We are playing Ukkus because this deck needs it. It's one of those few decks. All in all, you're going to use Arkenimon by on deletion. You may play 1 level 5 or lower card with Myotismon in text from your trash without paying its cost. Delete that Digimon at the end of your opponent's next turn. And then your turn, Arkenimon would be played from your hand. Delete this Tamer, reduce the play cost by 3. Just to cheat in your Myotismons, which is really powerful. This is not a bad thing. All turns when one of your other Digimon or Tamers deleted by an effect, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. And then by deleting one of your Digimon or Tamers, delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. If an effect didn't delete one of your opponent's Tamers, delete one of your opponent's Digimon, delete one of their Tamers. Not a bad trade-off. The deck has a lot of potential, and I hope for some good growth in the future. Then we do have Red Imperial Dramon. Gaining access to Dino B is really helpful, and it does have access to like Wormmon as another searcher, while reducing, the Digi-Evolution of the level 4 you're going to be bringing up there at a reduced cost 1. Just all in all, good stuff. Imperial Jamon Fighter mode and Dragon mode is always going to do something. Then we do have the final deck on our list. No, we don't. We have one more. Lunamon, the Sun and Moon deck, got a new Agumon here that helps searches, similar to Flare and our good friend Lycus. Then we play, reveal the top 3 cards to your deck, add 1 card with Light Fang trait and 1 card with Nightclaw trait, or 2 colors among them, return the rest to the bottom of the deck, and then all your opponent's security Digimon get minus 3,000 DP as an inheritable. Galgomon is just going to allow your opponent to draw. If your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, or if this Digimon has 3 or more Digi-Evolutions, gain a memory. Not a bad thing. It's a really solid thing, and it's got jamming, which is really good because now you don't have to worry about swinging into security for anything. A delicate plan is just to shut off options, as we know. Fireball is to draw at least 2 cards, and then Goodnight move to help lock down and abode it. Sorry about that. On all, great stuff. Then we do have Big Ukko Rush. I think it's got a lot of potential. As you know, a deck with being able to lock your opponent out from doing things is really nasty. You know, all the rookies are going to do something. You have Machomon that says when one of your Digimon attacks a player, draw a card. Especially if you can get this just on the ground and then your raising just keeps bringing them stuff up. Especially with Ukko, it's going to lead up to being something good. And then Big Ukko is just going to do what it wants to do. Return all Tamers to their owner's hand. Then you may play one Tamer card from your hand and one Ukko from your trash without paying its cost. And then by returning one Digi-Egg from your trash to the bottom of the Digi-Evolution deck, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. And then you may play one level 4 or lower card in your breeding area without paying its cost. Not a bad thing. Big Ukko's just going to do Big Ukko things. It's not a bad list. We are playing Yoshi just because it gives us more eggs recycling back just for on play. You know, Louie's going to do Louie things by helping promote the stacks up. Oh, wait, this is the Mem Setter one. This is by deleting one of your Ukko and trashing one of your Digimon in the breeding area. You may play a Big Ukko from breeding in your breeding area from your hand for a cost of 3. Not a bad trade-off. Makes Big Ukko from a big whopping 12 down to a 3 play cost. Not a bad thing. This list has a lot of potential in character. I want to see what decks will actually make it. Let me know down in the comments. What do you think?